Good evening, everybody. Welcome to City Pigeons episode 100 and something. We're here at the Eagles fucking Lost show. Jamaican air horns.
We don't have any sounders.
Yeah, that was a pretty depressing weekend. What do you guys think? Shut up. Knock it off.
No Eagles chant tonight.
Offensive coordinator.
Patulo.
He's gone.
Yeah, I gotta say, first of all, thanks, Meech, for starting the old show there. This is Mike Meech.
And that was
I'm
episode
Jesse
146. I said 100 something.
Doesn't matter. Mike Meech, Jesse Rendell, Eric Fink here, live from the coop.
An hour earlier than usual.
Yeah, an hour earlier. Please get back to us if you like the earlier time.
Is that what it is?
I wanted to get in bed at a nice hour today. You know what I mean? So I just figured. No, it's not like that.
Sexy time.
Oh, they're going to be rocking their socks.
Nah, not going down like that, folks. Anyway, yeah.
Hump day. I forgot it was Wednesday. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
All right, everyone just calm down. All right? Let's refocus. Look, I was wrong, okay? If you guys recall, if you joined us last week, we had a great show with guys in the cheap seats. Thanks again to those guys, to PHLY, Black Gritty for getting extra emotionally volatile. Although he, if you recall, was quite confident that we were going to beat the 49ers. And I saw, did you see Black Gritty's reaction video? It was very, it was intense and laden with profanity, which was, I didn't know. I mean, he just really, you got to check it out. Anyway, great show last week, but I, ended the show by saying that I felt like the NFL was a week-to-week league, and after watching them go up to Buffalo and gut that game out and then get a week of rest, my belief was that they had gotten to the point where they believed they could win any game, anytime, anywhere. And to be honest with you, after watching them play the game they just played on Sunday and then watching how everyone subsequently kind of talked about that game, it became very clear to me that no, that's not the case. They didn't believe that at all. They just wanted another week to try to give themselves the best chance possible to go out and somehow do it. But they obviously knew it was unlikely things were going to change, and nothing much did change. And you saw what you saw in that game. So I feel a little frustrated because I was dead wrong about this whole thing. You guys, by the way, I was going to say I had.
You can't even say you're dead wrong, because if they convert at the end, or if the defense stops the Niners or holds them to a field goal, then all we need is a field goal.
Right.
Or if we have some sort of creative offensive. I mean, it wasn't like we got embarrassed in that game.
Right.
But we did in a sense. And I'm almost relieved that we lost that game instead of having this last another week or two and maybe keep Kevin Patulo another year just because, he made it to the conference championship. So we got to see what he's about. Like we needed something like this. And that's what I appreciate with the Eagles, man. They either make it to the Super Bowl in a Sirianni era or they're one and done. So, it's not like I wanted to see them lose.
That's what it sounds like. And I don't like that.
Well, it's not the truth. Listen, man, I hate this because all those people who they're going to lose because the offense, they're all validated, and that bothers me.
Yeah.
So that's because I was the total opposite. And now I got to, admit I was wrong a little bit. And, but we need some change.
A little bit.
Not much. Because listen, they still could have won the game, but it shouldn't have come down to that with the depleted Niners.
It took a touchdown pass from Jennings. Like, they pulled out trick plays to beat us, and we still couldn't freaking score. It's so.
I blame you guys real quick a little bit for some of my pain and suffering, because if you recall, like all season long, we were having this debate about whether things were actually okay. This was the team that won the Super Bowl. They still had that same winning formula, whatever it was, to win when they needed to win. And there was a lot of people who, were getting concerned about what was going on with the offense and how the team looked like it wasn't capable of playing 4 quarters of football. And you guys did. You got to admit, you dismissed that, and you probably didn't, because you probably didn't want to believe that was true. By the end, I had kind of come over to you guys because of your peer pressure that you put on me. And then we do find out
defense is good. That's what we were. I think
we
that's
knew
what we were excited about when we were.
That's what you were focusing on.
I thought that this defense was a championship caliber defense.
Right.
I mean,
they could have been.
It could have been. They could still be. It's the fact, like, again, they pulled out trick plays to score touchdowns. They couldn't get touchdowns. This offense.
Well, listen, I think
this offense.
The people who said you're going to need that offense, you can't win with that offense in the playoffs. That's true because look, there's going to be give and take.
But here's the thing.
Wait, the defense wasn't terrible in that game. We got 2 takeaways. We didn't do squat with them. If you can't work together
3 points
and play
2 Quinyon Mitchell
complementary football, then eventually you're going to run into problems.
My one thing is like, off of what you just said, like the people who said are right. And I hate that we're in this times that like everything is, you have to be right. What you said is wrong. We did agree with it, but it shouldn't matter. Like we all saw it coming. We all knew. What's
so weird to me is the discrepancies in halves. Like our first half was really good, and then the second half we couldn't do shit. And it happened like 6 times this year. I've never seen anything like it.
Did you see the interview with that little kid?
Yeah, that was great.
But here's the thing: the first half
he should have his own fucking.
The
podcast.
First half he cooks. The second half is raw, and like that's exactly what you're going with. Like that's a perfect analogy.
If you saw that little kid and you put his photo up against a photo of me when I was young, I'm telling you that was not far off, man. I felt for that little kid, little chubby face. He's so cute. Oh man, viral moments. We live for them. Not so much when it's after a loss, but hey, at least some of us have a good sense of humor.
Is that not insane about how good like the offense is in the first half and like the second half is just
it's crazy. Like, how does your game plan change that much?
Okay, but you heard, do you guys hear Saquon after the game? He's like, well, what did you expect? He's like, we haven't played. He's like, how many times have we played 4 quarters of good football? It's like, that was the one. When I saw him say that, I was like, man, I was way off on this because there were clearly people on this team who just didn't believe.
ESP asked Hurts straight up. He was just like, do you want to put Petula back? And he was like, and then they say about AJ, and he goes,
like, yeah,
we have a great relationship. We just talked.
Right.
So, like,
which, by the way, AJ Brown sucked that game. And I'm not just talking about the drop passes. I'm not just like, he didn't block anybody. Did you see? I don't know. A guy tweeted it was the very first offensive play of the game for us. Yeah, it was a run to Saquon. They brought AJ in motion. Right. He blocked no one, and the guy that he brought with him into the box had the tackle for a loss. Yeah. Like, that's doing more than nothing, and that's bad play design. But it's all encompassing of the Eagles' failures this year, and you know what? I'm glad that's over with. Hopefully, we get one of these hot. Now, who's the OC coordinator that who on your wish list? Do you care? Do you?
I don't. McDaniels, Dabo, anybody?
Well, and you look at it like Dable was with Jalen at Alabama. He was with Saquon in New York. Saquon's best season in New York was under Dable. He had like 1,600 all-purpose yards. But Dable didn't bench Hurts because Dable was the offensive coordinator. They don't get to bench the quarterback. I'm guessing.
Brought up, so
they could have a bad relationship. I don't know that. And the other thing to think about, like Mike McDaniel, he was the Vic Fangio was his defensive coordinator. And he fired him, I guess. Yeah. I mean, do they have a bad relationship? Will Vic Fangio be annoyed if they bring Mike McDaniel? Because Mike McDaniel doesn't have a very engaging personality. He's very smug, very arrogant.
Vaping on the sideline with his capris.
Listen, I don't claim to know the ins and outs of everybody's different coordinator.
No, I'm just bringing it up because there are reasons
those
to
two
look
guys
into guys.
Look like really big personalities to bring into that building. Now, I know the idea is we want to go back the other way and have a coordinator who actually does their own thing, and like Nick isn't, totally influencing everything they do. I just don't see guys like those guys with those kind of personalities coming in.
Well,
but
here's why I think you need one of those guys with those personalities, because you need somebody that's going to get through to Jalen and not be like an up-and-comer that Jalen's going to be like, do I even respect you? Do I know what you did? If he's got guys who he has, a pedigree with or respects, and they can make them buy in. Because here's what bothered me about this Eagles season. So many things came out about Jalen from the media. Like, he doesn't like to run. He doesn't throw over the middle. He doesn't like to take from under center. He doesn't put guys in motion. But
Right.
this is all shit that's all speculated from people within the building. But you got all these reporters. You can't ask Jalen himself. He's available after every game. Say, hey, Jalen, are you uncomfortable putting guys in motion? Are you uncomfortable under center? Do these guys not ask him? Do they just like to speculate?
Well,
It's crazy.
So part of you going off the speculation thing is a lot of people are saying KP is the one who's leaking that stuff to the media because he was talking about the podcast and stuff like that. Do you think so? The Eagles did not fully fire him. Like they had all the national writers come out and say, "Oh, look at the rewording." Like he's going to stay on the staff. So if he's out here putting Hurts out under the bus, saying things like that, do you think that he's somebody you should keep in house?
Not
because
if that's
Nick's
him.
boy?
Not if you know that's
Who
him.
else do you think it could be?
I don't. Who knows?
I know. Look, this
Could it be
brings.
I
Nick?
think it might be reporters just making up speculation because that's how they feel, and they don't.
Well, did you see the thing with Richard Sherman where he said Patullo was talking to someone he knows, where he goes, "Oh, it's really hard."
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
LaShawn
The
McCoy
fans don't
says the
know
same thing on his
thing.
stupid podcast. I know people in the building, but nobody names anybody specific.
You can't
Now,
name
hold
people,
on.
but
So we did.
whoa, hold on. Sorry, Jesse. Sorry, I'm going back on this McCoy thing. So McCoy is a legend in the. Hello. So McCoy's like a legend in the Eagles front office locker room thing. Do you think that he's putting his name on the line to
Hell no,
say
nobody's hiring LaShawn McCoy.
No,
for
not
anything.
like hire him, but do you think as someone who's talking weekly, do you think they're going to give him something and he's not?
I hate to tell you, by the way, like
There could be people in the house saying that.
I think the Eagles honored him because of his statistics and what he did in his career. I don't think they were a huge fan of him as a player when he was here because he was not, he was always a very somewhat immature, kind of wild
throwing
dude.
women off buses.
I'm just
not
saying,
tipping at burger
you said
places,
that he was a favorite, right? He was a favorite.
No, not a
I don't
fan
think so.
favorite. I mean, with
No,
the
he was
franchise,
a fan favorite, not with the
didn't
front
they retire
office.
his number?
I told you they did because of his stats and what he had done, and they're always looking for somebody to do build an event around or have somebody come back.
And not to put too much, but him and Hugh Douglas are also saying Jalen Hurts stuff. So someone inside that building is doing it and is talking to the ex-players.
So
which is weird.
We had this conversation a couple weeks ago and talked about whether there were more issues there with Jalen than we could properly tell. And you recall, it was my theory that there were people in the building, a lot of players who may not be as fond of the whole Jordan aura thing, especially when things aren't going well and things don't look good on tape, what have you. I do believe that I don't think this is a concerted effort by one person to do that. I think there's multiple people who share the opinion that, there's limitations with what Hurts can do. And so it's not all on. I mean, you heard the players were to a man, defending Kevin Patullo in some respect. A lot of guys at least were coming out. So I think it's I
heard Mailata.
Ton of people. Kelsey getting his
Kelsey.
back.
No offense, Kelsey. Kelsey's an
There we go.
organizational mouth at this point. He's a mouth. Did he not run it back today? He goes, oh, he corrected it. What I meant was
right. I'm just saying
he's a mouthpiece for the Warriors.
You have to agree that throughout the course of the season, players have seemed very willing to say it's on us, it's execution, when they could have had the opportunity to not say things like that.
So who believes that?
I believe that a lot of them do believe that, but I think there are other people that don't believe that. I think there's probably a bit of
not me. I don't.
Well, not you, but you're not in there. You're not seeing everything that happens, right? We have to speculate about what's going on in there to the best of our ability. That's what we can do. We all hear things and little things.
We have to speculate, but reporters, can't they just say, hey, Jalen, do you like running the ball or do you purposely not run it this year? Is that a not straightforward answer?
But you know what?
Ask
so I think you got to go back and
player?
check the tape because I think there's a very specific instance where that question was asked and he came back and said, where'd you get that? And from where did you hear that? Or because it was okay. Someone specifically asked.
Well, that was a Jimmy Kempski and another reporter.
Right. They asked, you're running less on purpose. And Jalen's like, well, where did you hear that? You know what I mean? So But again, these reports, when the guy's right in front of you 6 days a week, I mean, I don't get
we have 7,000 journalists in this city. Like we're not short of guys that can ask questions at a press conference.
That's why I respect ESP for his question. And he asked Jalen Hurts straight up. He was like, how do you feel about Kevin Poole? I don't even want his name right. But, KP.
Koopy Patuli.
Do you want him back? Blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, oh, well, that's a long blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, what about your relation? Someone said, what about your relation with A.J. Brown? And he goes, oh, me and A.J. Brown talked. We're great. So,
actually, now that you say that, because I listened to the Jordan Mailata show on Monday night on WIP.
I heard there was some good stuff on that as well.
And his answer was, when they asked him about Kevin Patullo, do you want him back? It was, that's above my pay grade.
And Jalen said the same thing. Jalen said the same thing. So, like, here's the thing. If them guys are saying that, like, it's very easy just to be like, you know what? He got a bad shake this year. We didn't execute, blah, 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 like they were trying to say after the game. You give them the day to sit on, and they're like,
yeah,
this guy's an idiot. And,
listen,
they've been saying it all season. They have been. Everyone has been saying it all season.
Look, as a player in that position, you got 3 potential answers, right? One is, yeah, I want him back. He's great. I think he did great. It's not his fault. The other is, hell no, I don't want him back. He was terrible. Obviously, they can't say either of those things. They have too much at stake. So you have to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, you have to
and
be a little
say,
diplomatic.
That's not something that I
but
can
a
make a decision on.
non-answer is an answer at that. Like, if you like the guy, you can back him easily. Say, yeah, I want him back. I love Kevin Patullo. He's the man.
Yeah,
he's
what
my
you can
guy.
say. Honestly,
but
I don't
a
think you can say
non-answer
that.
is a no.
Okay, you don't want to say that because you don't want to get you don't want to cross Howie Roseman or anybody who might have a plan in mind to get rid of him. It's not going to be good for a noteworthy player on the Eagles to come out and because it could be Eagles let go Patullo despite players wanting to keep him. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
so what
you could say that about AJ Brown if they get rid of him.
What you could easily do is say, I thought Kevin did a good job this year. I know a lot of people have said, that it's on him, but I don't think it was all him. It's a combination of factors. But at the end of the day, I don't make the decisions based on, who gets fired or not. So I can't really say. That's up to the front office.
I don't even think that was the worst Patullo game, aside from, that last play, which was, I mean, you just can't do that. There's no way that's successful ever. But I don't even think he was that bad. It was how many penalties did they have?
7. And then
the Niners had 1.
Yes.
I mean, that's where you lose and they weren't just little penalties, man. They were to make it 2nd and 18, where they just dumped it off to a guy for a loss of 2 more.
Do you also agree that we had a lot of penalties this year?
Yeah, way more than we should have.
And guess what? Undisciplined football comes from what?
Here's
coaching.
Here's my least valuable player for the Eagles this year.
KP. I'm thinking Sirianni's involved as well.
You got to have that conversation.
I think he's off the hook a little bit too. Like, he's like, oh, KP will be my guy.
On that note, real quick, the question I have for you guys is, do you think that it has been fair how much vitriol that Kevin Patullo has gotten? Because I feel like, I think, you're the offensive coordinator. The offense sucks.
First year without an all-pro since 2021.
But you made a good point there about the penalties and all this other stuff going on that, Nick has a hand in that too. And so I just feel like, yes, Kevin Patullo had to go. But in Philly, we tend to glom on to one thing and beat the crap out of it. And I feel like he became the whipping boy for all of the bigger things that were going on with the team.
Listen,
I don't think that's really fair.
All right, fire Sirianni too. I don't give a shit. Get him out of here.
Well, interestingly,
be honest with you, I wouldn't mind.
You don't give a shit either. And I see
bring in Harbaugh, bring in Stefanski.
And this is the other thing that I see a lot of people arguing. They're like, oh, you want Harbaugh in here? He's been in 1 Super Bowl in the last 18 years, and he won. But Nick has been in 2, and he won 1. Do you think that Nick Sirianni is a better football mind than John Harbaugh just because he won a Super Bowl? Because I don't. I honestly do not.
Here's an apt comparison to that. When we got rid of Andy Reid, he'd been to 1 Super Bowl, and he just ran his course here.
Yep.
He went to Kansas City, and he became a legend. He's now a Hall of Fame coach, probably top 3 ever.
Yep.
After leaving here, and Harbaugh's still young enough to where he could have that in him. Listen, Sirianni is a vibes guy. He's a locker room guy. He always has these guys back. But I don't know what more than that he brings. Can you just keep him in the locker room as as their buddy?
And I did see some analysts or analyst commentators. I don't even know what to call anyone anymore, but people were talking about how, you know, it's kind of funny because if Nick Sirianni got fired, no one else is going to hire him, right? Which they show as an indication of, you know, how good of a coach you are as compared to a Harbaugh or Tomlin or whoever else that's likely to get a job. Did Tomlin say he doesn't want to coach? I actually don't know.
No, but
he resigned, right?
I seen the thing that he stepped down. So if anyone wants him,
Right.
he has to be traded for.
Right.
I think that's the thing.
Keith, our boy here at Neasty Boys, is saying more blame needs to go on Sirianni.
Yeah, Keith, talk it up. Because here's the thing: he's
true.
the CEO. That's what they basically say. Like, he's the CEO of this company. And guess what? If your company underperforms, the CEO gets axed.
Sometimes,
but not after 4
sometimes.
years of exponential growth.
Doug Peterson.
If you have like one,
Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, and he wanted
Yeah.
to get off of Press Taylor, and
but he had some bad years
So-
around that. Nick
Oh.
Sirianni hasn't.
Well, back onto the other thing I said earlier about people talk about John Harbaugh compared to Nick Sirianni, because Nick Sirianni won Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl. Do you think John Harbaugh is a better coach than Doug Peterson? 100% I do.
No, I mean no one's going to argue it.
Yeah, like I don't
Yeah.
know why like people are.
Yeah, I
even
mean,
arguing
listen,
this.
the case of Nick Sirianni is very curious, man. We got to be honest. From the moment he got here, there were signs that things weren't going to go well. Then he managed to, you know, get the Eagles into the Super Bowl. Then the roof falls in on us. Then they go back and win it. I mean, it's crazy. But I did think, going back to your point and to Keith's point about him accepting more responsibility, I thought it was very interesting. The post that the Eagles put out about Patullo, right? It says a bunch of stuff. It's Nick, by the way. It's a quote from Nick. I shouldn't say it's a post. It's a quote. And, he says, I have decided to make a change at offensive coordinator and yada, yada, yada. And at the very end, there's a separate line from that paragraph that says, ultimately, when we fall short of our goals, that responsibility lies on my shoulders. And I just thought that was the weirdest thing to say, like after you're saying you're firing this guy, but what responsibility are you taking? You know what I mean? So,
Well, he's saying I don't call the plays, but ultimately our loss is on me. I'm going to fire the guy who called all the plays.
So here's my other thing with Sirianni. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
You don't have to
Why are you
apologize to
sorry
us
for him?
Why would he
I'm sorry.
not jump in sooner? Because like here's the thing.
because he doesn't have the pedigree to do it. Like Dan Campbell did, but how'd that work out for the Lions? Remember Dan Campbell took the play calling
Yeah.
away because they lost Ben Johnson and their play caller wasn't doing a good
Yeah.
job. And then he took over, and the first game they had like 50 points, and they thought he was going to be and then they missed the fucking playoffs. Football's a hard goddamn sport to master. But when you're Patullo, you have to be way more creative. This offense was so vanilla. When you watch Orlovsky, even I hate the fucking Emmanuel Achu, but even he breaks it down.
Achu.
God bless you, Gesundheit. But even he breaks it down.
The way he does it with the kind of intensity that he does kind of bothers me a little bit. But
yeah,
that's what it is.
it's hard to stomach, but you get his point. But it's not just them; it's everybody. It's like where are these plays coming from? Baldinger does it.
Yeah.
Like when you get all of these film guys, Kurt Warner, Nick Foles,
Oh my gosh.
who let me ask you guys, like, I don't even know if they're looking for offensive coordinator jobs, but every time I hear Kurt Warner talk about breaking down an offense,
Doesn't wanna
he
do
sounds like
that.
a goddamn genius to
Yeah,
me.
they don't
Like,
want to do that.
He sounds like he knows
None of them.
everything he's.
Do you know how many hours those guys have to put in? I mean, the
They
coordinators
put
are
it
the
in
worst.
as an analyst.
Yeah.
They would put it in times
No.
10. They put it in as a player.
It's
They
not,
would do it as a coach. Football's these guys' lives.
Listen, no, it is not a glamorous life at all being
No,
on that.
I'm not
on those
saying that, but
staffs.
these guys fucking live and breathe
Real quick
football.
though, you mentioned why wouldn't Nick jump in? Why wouldn't they do something? You have to remember context is so important with this whole situation. If you go back to 2023, right?
The collapse.
Yeah, they tried to make the change. They tried to flip up the defensive coordinator, right? And that was a total disaster. And I think that honestly, that scarred Howie a little bit in terms of making like an in-season change in like a leadership position. So I think what they actually did, and again, this is me just speculating to the best of my ability. I do think they asked Nick to get a little bit more involved in things. And I think that worked in certain situations, but I don't think it did.
Did you see
for the most
the
part.
video of the last play call
Mhm.
where Patullo is calling on and Nick Sirianni's 5 feet back? He doesn't say a goddamn word the entire exchange.
Right.
So
He doesn't have any input in that.
But also at the end of the day, we all know this is Nick Sirianni's offense. Like these coordinators are running his offense at the.
But do you think that was the case with Kellen Moore?
No, I think that's
Dude,
Kellen Moore's shit.
We complained about Kellen Moore until like week 14. He turned it on at the end. Like it's the same thing. Like every year we're complaining about the offense when you have players like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Like every other team talks about how we have weapons, and then every year we're struggling with the offense until like again Kellen Moore turned it the hell on. Thank you. The end,
started running.
And we won a Super Bowl. But like,
and here's what I was about to say earlier. My least favorite player all year was Cam Jurgens. Dude, he sucks. Like he got manhandled that entire game, the entire last half of the season. Like I don't know what happened to that guy, but dude, you watch Kelsey and everything was he'd hike the ball and everything was forward. Cam Jurgens getting pushed back like constantly.
Well,
man.
look, let's pay him some respect.
He was handpicked. He was handpicked by Kelsey as well.
But he did play through a really bad back injury for us last year to get us, to win the Super Bowl. And he had back surgery in the offseason. And I just can't imagine if you're having any sort of back pain that playing line, let alone being the center, is very easy. So we don't know.
God bless him if he's toughing it out. But if not, Jesus Christ, get a backup in there.
We don't know what. And that's the case. A lot of this, we don't know what a lot of these guys are going through. You heard Landon Dickerson after the game talking about how this season was so brutal for him. And so you really don't know. And you did hear a lot of people talking about the offensive line play and how that was a factor too. And so I think the reality of the situation is all that stuff combined to just create a scenario that we just couldn't work our way out of. But they did have plenty of time to try to figure out how to work their way out of it. And the fact that after however many weeks, right, they would have been in their 18th football game there. They haven't figured out a way to get, AJ and Smitty open easily. They haven't figured out a way to open any sort of holes for Saquon Barkley. It's just kind of mystifying. So look, Patullo had to go. I think the organization would likely say, getting rid of Nick would be just too much of a sea change moment there in terms of them believing that they're right there. I don't think
you really can get rid of a head coach who made no head coach has made the playoffs in his first 5 years as a coach.
Yep.
None. So
and I think they like having coaches that they have some control over, So I think having Nick there, I think they like that opposed to bringing in someone who's a super strong personality that, that might not be the case with.
Now here's
a gambler, you like to follow the trends. Eagles hire outside coordinator, Super Bowl. Inside, no Super Bowl.
Yep.
Outside Super Bowl this year, no Super Bowl.
Let's get an outside guy.
Outside coordinator. We're back in the Super Bowl next year, Michi. He's in. Mitch is in. Mitch is back. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the truth is, you were house money, whether you say it or not.
Did that defense not get you excited
Hold
and
on.
get you?
No. You were house money all year because the Super Bowl made you soft and you didn't really care about the real issues with the team. You just come in with
a Super Bowl victory can soften you up a little bit.
I'm just saying, you guys did not have a sense of urgency.
They had
about
a grace period.
We didn't. How about the
December.
fucking Eagles? They didn't have the
sense.
sense.
Certainly didn't.
Jesse's trying to call us out. We're not on the field, Jesse. We're not out there.
You guys are just hardcore glazers, man. You know what I mean?
Please don't use that word.
I'm not allowed to use that.
No,
old ball guy can't say glaze.
If I hear glaze or goon,
it's buns, man.
What's a goon to a goblin?
What is it, goon?
Not
yeah, that means
that's something too.
Whoa,
what?
To whack off.
All right, that's enough.
Oh, you goon to me? Like,
okay.
But that's glaze is the same goddamn thing, man.
That's not what I was saying. I'm just saying I'm a goonie.
It doesn't matter. All right, let's just,
you're a goonie.
Let's just move on. Where are you heading?
Here's my question, and it's a huge.
Preferably not.
It's a huge question to look at next year. What happens with Lane Johnson? Because here's the strangest thing about this season. If you have a player who's going to miss 4 games, you put him on the IR without question. It happened with Nakobe Dean. It happened with Makuba before he, went on the IR for the season. Any player where you think he's just going to miss 4 games, if that's you put him on IR. They never put Lane Johnson on IR, which means they thought he was going to come back in less than 4 games, and he never came back. And I'm pretty sure I'm not a doctor, but this Liz Frank injury, isn't this the same injury that Deuce Staley had ended his career? Because you know who gets Liz
Some each
Frank?
throwback facts. We're
Well,
gonna have
didn't
to get
Ben
that
Simmons
checked out.
have it, and he was out all
Because I
season?
remember when Deuce Staley got it, and
I know that Liz Frank is not good. That much I know.
Who's the one that does the coloring? The Frank, Anne Frank.
No, Anne Frank was
Diary of Anne Frank?
the Holocaust
Yeah,
survivor
let's
who
just
stayed
keep it
in
on,
an attic
keep it on.
for
Yeah.
like.
There's someone that does color.
It's not a name. It's
I'll figure it out.
LISFRANC. It's Liz Frank.
It's Liz Frank.
It's not a woman, Elizabeth
it's like Liz
Frank.
Frank.
All right. So anyway,
We digress.
this injury, I remember when Deuce Staley got it, which ended his career. It occurs with guys who ride horses when they get their foot caught.
Lisa Frank coloring. That was my mistake. Lisa Frank.
The freak
I
is
am
Lisa
so
Frank.
sorry.
All right. Listen, you got to
So
go back.
is he ever going to come back?
This is what happened. Okay. He gets injured. They're hopeful that the quickest timeline gets him back before the 4-game IR period. So they don't put him on that. But then if you recall, he was going to go for the Redskins game down there, but he didn't feel great. So they held him back.
Well, we rested the starters.
But wait,
you know?
and then you get to, no, that's the last game. Then you get to Buffalo and it's absolutely pouring. The game doesn't really matter a ton. I think they decided at that point, like they were going to bring him back, but they decided, you know what? We're just going to let him wait into the playoffs. Then as we get to the playoffs, he obviously did something, whether it was practice or whatever, that re-aggravated it or set something off. So my hope is still, I think it's pretty obvious with Lane Johnson. If he's healthy, if he's healthy and he wants to play, he's absolutely back. I mean, you can take a chance at drafting a tackle and see how that goes, but I'll take Lane Johnson every day. I don't know
shit, but I don't think he's coming.
Like, and here's the question: you'd have to go back and look at the tape before he got injured. Did you see a deterioration in his play? I mean, nobody played as well as they played last year, but I don't recall anyone saying Lane Johnson's now like a revolving door. So I'm bringing Lane Johnson back for sure, as long as he is ready to go. And if it's a Liz Frank injury, he should be able to heal up.
Or Lisa Frank.
Lisa
injury.
Frank and Frank.
I'm so
and Frank.
sorry.
It doesn't really matter. To
Lisa-
be frank,
Lisa Frank was big back in the 90s, man. I'm
Yeah.
telling
Frank
you.
Drebin.
It was a lot of art.
And the other position that annoyed me all goddamn year was backup running back, because last year, dude, Kenny Gainwell fucking ruled, and he ruled for the Steelers this year. And before the season, we signed A.J. Dillon, who dressed for every game, but yet didn't make it. Like, what was the point of A.J. Dillon on this team?
And by the way,
what was the point of him?
The weirdest thing about that, the point of A.J. Dillon, A.J. Dillon has those monster legs.
Positivity rabbit.
He was supposed to be, short
And he brought that
yardage guy.
stupid bunny thing into the locker
But here's the
room.
thing:
Bring that bunny
he was
in
supposed
here.
to be a short yardage, like mashing running back. To contrast with Saquon, that didn't happen.
Well,
And
our
then-
short
but
yardage
guess what?
masher is tush push,
But guess
which
what?
didn't work this year.
He was on like the kick return. He's one of the kick return guys. I'm like, why the hell are you using a
And then
masher running back
week
for this?
one, they got to
No
trade
sense.
for Tank Bigsby,
with
and they don't
actual draft
they
capital.
traded him
Yeah.
to be a returner, and then he ends up being a great backup running back, and they don't use him either.
He had
Yeah.
4 carries for 20 yards in that game. If you're by
Yeah.
averages, that's 5 yards a clip. Why are you not running him more?
Well, and listen, to me, this all goes
because
back
Kevin
to
Patullo
the game
is
against
an idiot.
Washington,
Hold on.
Tank Bigsby didn't touch the ball after 2 minutes left in the
Right.
third quarter.
it's well documented.
Why?
It's well documented that Tank Bigsby didn't get the ball as much as everyone thought he should, right? But if you recall, the year prior, right, they made the decision to run, and they just were able to smash it, and they
And we
just
won a Super Bowl.
ran and ran and ran. And here's what I think the problem is: you got other coaches who are using their players and their personnel and the configurations that they line up in to throw other teams off, and they're trying to get an advantage by changing things up. And so I just don't understand why it's not beneficial to go from Saquon to Tank. Here we saw that it was when Tank actually was able to come in. I think that's the biggest point. This staff didn't use the resources at their
watch almost
disposal
any
creatively
football
enough
team.
to create advantages.
There's a series or two where their backup running back comes in, and he's very successful.
Blake Corum.
Everybody.
Who's that? Kyle dude for the Bears who keeps getting in and gains a shitload of yards
Can't
behind
pronounce his last
Swift.
name. Not trying.
Monongai.
Magawai.
Monongai. But you know what? Almost
Kyle
feels like with the
McGowan.
Eagles, they're like every time they run, they're like, well, we gotta get yards here, so it's got to be Saquon, but that doesn't make any sense.
Can I just
Right.
say one more other thing with the offense that really bothered me this year before we get off it?
The lack of third wide receiver.
Well, that, but also getting to the line and snapping the ball every time
with
at
1
2 to 1
second.
second.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
No sense to
annoying.
me.
So the defense
know it's coming,
The
yeah.
defense doesn't know. When are you going to snap the ball? Maybe
So
it's coming
annoying,
at
dude.
1
Thank you for
second
mentioning
when you
that.
do it every goddamn snap. Where is it doesn't.
All right.
You throw someone in motion. You can do anything. They just sit there at the line for fucking 15. Excuse my language, for 15 seconds, and they're just.
Well,
I totally
I think
agree.
that goes
that's
back
very
to
annoying to watch.
right. And
no other team does that. No one else.
And they do it. They snap it literally at 2 to 1 seconds. That's it. That's it every time. You're telling me that's Jalen Hurts' idea, or is that Kevin Petula's?
I think there are guys. This is what I understand from listening to people talk about this. And again, I've never been behind the kind of scenes with a pro football team, but I think there are people like the Shanahans of the game. And you guys probably saw the way people were talking about how he set up the trick play by doing something earlier. Reminded me of, did you ever see I think you're going to know this. Who is the pitcher? The Braves' great pitcher,
Greg
Maddux. Did you see the thing about him
where he
setting
gave up a homer in
in the regular
so
season because
he could
exactly
strike him out in the playoffs?
Like I
he's a
think
genius.
there are guys who do those kind of things and who, think very quickly. Play calling has to be. I mean, think about it. You have such limited time to make a decision. I think there are just people who are really good at that, and there are people who probably aren't as good. And it seems like to me that didn't come naturally to Kevin Petullo, and that's part of the reason I think that we always ended up so deep into the play clock, because he probably wasn't naturally going.
It's not
you know
for
what?
everybody.
We just did this, they just did that, so I'm going to do this. They zig, I zag, and I think it was more like I'm just going to keep zigging because that's the way to do it.
Up tempo in there, like catch someone off guard.
Anything like that.
The 49ers defense was injured. They're not like, you throw some on tempo in there, get some things that they're not like ready for, what they're looking for. That defense could probably cater because crater, because they're not the regular guys. I think they were in their 4th and 5th linebackers.
Right.
Or
here is the critical.
They signed
question.
Kazir White off the street that week.
Like, come on, like. You got to score points against a stupid defense.
This is the critical questions we sit here wondering what the future holds. Because last year, we went on the ride of a lifetime. I think in some ways we thought that was a possibility, but I don't think we ever could have imagined how that all went down. I was actually thinking I'm so depressed. I might go rewatch some of our episodes there during the playoffs. I recommend the people at home too, if you're depressed, go watch some of the episodes,
even if you're not depressed.
If you do it anyway.
Yeah.
But the critical question that we have to think about right now and hopefully answer is it as simple as somebody who has a good offensive mind coming in and going, well, shit, Saquon, Smitty, AJ, solid line, whoever Howie drafts, whatever free agents we get, and they can go, oh, I can create mismatches here, there, and everywhere. If it's that simple, and assuming that the defense remains as good as it was, then we shouldn't have any problem getting right back to where we were before. Yeah. But the bigger question is just, are there issues? And I think this is a fair question. You guys can't just dismiss this. Between Nick and Jalen, two guys who have shown the capability to do things that are very difficult to do and that we want them to do, two guys who have also raised real question marks in certain respects. That's what I wonder, right? Is the combination of those two guys and what they do.
Did you see that sitcom finale episode?
It looked so
ender?
fake to me.
It really did.
Let me ask you a
question. Looked like
it
was scripted.
People are eating that up.
It looked like the end of Full House season.
It pissed me off. It pissed me off.
Okay, real quick. If you haven't, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably know what we're talking about. It's the end of the Hard Knocks. It was a series finale, I think, which covered the Eagles losing the game on Sunday. And it's Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni sitting in the Eagles auditorium with no one else around. I suppose after a team
except an
HBO
cameraman,
except HBO, and they're sitting there looking salty,
and a production team and writers.
They're all mic'd up.
And Jalen goes, "We'll be back," and Nick goes, "I have no doubt about it," or something like that.
And then they smooch.
And just how does that happen? Like they have the team meetings, like, "Hey, Jalen,
everybody
let's
get out
of
here.
Talk some more.
Everyone get out of here except Jalen."
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know.
I have something I have to
now.
Say
Listen,
to him.
as an Eagles fan, if that's a true moment, right? And if Jalen believes in Nick enough to sit there and have that exchange and genuinely believe they're going to be back, then I'm all for that. I love that. But that just doesn't seem to be an authentic scenario as far as I can tell.
The thing with that clip is, why couldn't they do it this year? You could have been back this year.
Because I think Nick isn't Kevin Petullo like his good friend?
Yeah, that's why he's not getting fired. He's getting moved back into this staff, which I also don't like at all either. I think
he wanted to stick this out with him and just say, give him a year. What's good about this, what I like about them losing in the wild card round is if they would have made it another week or two and lost a tough game in the conference championship because their defense is great and because they can hang in games,
then we might have been.
It would have been like Petullo sticks around another year. Yeah, and then we end up with the Phillies team.
But if KP is Nick's boy, you don't want to see your boy fail, especially when you hire him to your business. That's where Nick should have stepped in and been like, "Yo, KP, let's sit down, let's work this out and figure something out." And they didn't do that either.
You got to imagine Nick did whatever he could to try to make it work because Kevin was his guy, but even that didn't work, right? And so that's part of the reason why I'm a little bit concerned.
Why wouldn't Nick be like, "Yo, Kev, check it out. Here's Kellen Moore's play sheets. Here's all his plays, dude.
Here's what Kellen.
Yeah,
let's call Kellen. Can we call Kellen?
We still have just implement some of these. See all these when all these guys are crossing and guys going in, and then they cut out, and the defensive back doesn't know what to do because they're
on the same.
Yeah, do these. Like try this. Our wide receivers are good enough to do it. Our wide receiver 3
the Philly
was so bad this year. Like, I don't remember any catches our third wide receiver had all year that were memorable, or did they gain 50 yards all year?
No, Dotson had a couple of plays.
Not that I was like excited about Dotson signing, but I was like, well, this is a solid guy.
He's a first-round draft pick. And
traded.
Listen,
but nobody can figure out how to work a third wide receiver. And here's another thing that bothered me this year. I'm sorry, but every time you bring Calcaterra onto the field,
he can't block.
He can't block for shit. And it's so obvious.
We talked about this.
He's not going to catch a ball. So what's the point of him being on the field?
Okay. And he's out there to run block, and he can't do it. So they know that what's coming. And it's the same fucking thing all the time.
I'm so sorry. I pretended to enjoy this offense and thought it was going to be good this year.
You were doing pretty good.
No, I was trying, man.
What you
said, I believed in this team, man.
What you said about the third receiver is a perfect microcosm of the problem, in my opinion, because I'm guessing if you ask someone why, in the building, why Dotson never got the ball, they would say, well, Jalen doesn't progress through his reads, right? Okay, fine. So if that's what you're saying, I would counter that. I would say, okay, fine. But I would counter that by saying, why don't you have any plays drawn up for your third receiver, knowing the teams are going to spend so much energy trying to stop Devontae and AJ? You're telling me you can't do something with Devontae and AJ that makes their whole defense go, shit, we better stop Devontae and AJ. And guess what?
Every
Dotson's
team in the NFL has it.
That's what I'm saying.
Every team.
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, there's got to be games where, like, damn,
especially in the playoffs,
they're rolling a safety over top of AJ every time. And
like you see
getting
Christian Kirk. Who was the third receiver for the Rams who caught the game-winning touchdown? All these teams just implement. Right. Demarcus Robinson ruined us.
Which is insane. Like, and that's the other thing to think. Like, if you think about all the wide receivers 1, 2 in the league across the league,
we held to like 30 yards, and Demarcus Robinson.
You're going to take AJ Brown and Devontae Smith as a pair, probably on at least the top 5, top 3, maybe.
Yeah,
and like they cannot score. And the one thing I seen about we were talking about earlier about Jalen Hurts not running the ball as much is that KP this year has called the least amount of drawn up plays for a quarterback. Right. So like a lot of the rumors come out that Jalen Hurts doesn't want to do it anymore, but it also who is it? Who is it really? Like, is KP saying it's not him? Is like what
I doubt he's calling it in the headset, and Jalen Hurts is like, nah, call another play. Yeah. Like I doubt it's happening.
And like the one Jalen, he had a good run that got called back on a holding penalty, which is on discipline, which comes back to the entire coaching staff.
Yeah, the penalties this year were ridiculous, man. I think the only non-penalty marred game was the Oakland one.
You won a turnover battle against the 49ers. Barkley had 200, not 200. He had over 100 yards rushing. The defense basically held their own, and you still lost. Like
You get 2 Quignon picks at
Oh,
home in the
2.
playoffs.
Come on.
It's over.
If someone had told
Game
you they
over.
were going to get 2 Quignon picks and they lost,
I'd say
you
we
would've been like,
win 42-10.
come on. That's just crazy.
exactly. It's like someone came up to you and was like, Meech, I saw the future. 2 Quignon picks by the end of the game. What's your prediction for your final score? You'd be like 60 to nothing.
I'm putting my mortgage. I'm putting my house note on the
Yeah,
Eagles
and
money
it's
line.
just-
Well, and
It's dumb shit.
And that's
All
the point, right? To me, that's the most important point. We got these 2 picks. We did nothing with them. We were not in any way an opportunistic team. We're the opposite of opportunistic. What's the opposite of opportunistic? I don't know. But
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know, man.
Sorry.
Who
No, no.
knows?
Well, it was no good.
And I see Sirianni would never call Philly,
He won.
which I agree with. But on the same token, Doug Peterson would have never called it either. That was a Nick Foles thing. Doug Peterson wasn't thinking of that play at all. If you like, nobody would call that except a crazy Nick Foles.
Nick Foles for offensive coordinator.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying, man.
Ooh, he did call out.
Can
And
you
hold on.
imagine?
So this is.
Could you imagine
I'm getting really back into
in a Super Bowl next year, and like they're confused on what to call on the sideline, and Foles goes up to Sirianni. He's like, "How about we go the new Philly," and they have some new crazy, and it wins a Super.
And then there's a statue of Nick and Nick right next to the Nick and Doug statue.
Do you remember
Nick.
Nickelodeon?
Thank you.
Do you remember the
Old heads.
podcast clip where Nick Foles said about Kevin Patullo, like, some guys are made to be like this, and he goes, he has like his play calling is not there, like he's not the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if like my thing is like this was like week 6. I could be lying to you. I could be really lying to you guys.
That's
I don't
fine.
know.
Roughly.
I don't. Yeah, it could be week
No- no
6.
one is
Tell us
fact
you're
checking.
lying,
It
we
could be week
won't know.
12. It could be
no
whenever.
one is fact checking.
But you have outside sources coming to you and saying, like, I care about this team. I'm watching this team, and this guy just doesn't have it. How does Nick Sirianni not know it? I know it's his boy, but like, I just I can't get over it. I can't
Yeah,
get over it.
can
I
I-
want to
can
get
I
over it.
ask
Again,
this?
I try to say I'm not mad about it, but
Right.
like it just
Go to his house.
frustrates. It just
I'm
frustrates
cool
me.
with it.
eggs.
I'm cool with it. We got 10 minutes left in the show. Can we
Yeah, I
talk about
agree.
shit other than the
You
Eagles
kinda
right
beat a
now?
dead horse.
You want to see my butthole? No.
Yo,
2 beers.
I said butt. I said
2.5
butt. I said
beers.
butt. I said butt.
You know?
I could have said. I'm
Okay.
not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying
Thank you for your input. Thank you for
All
that levity
I'm
that you
cut
brought with
off.
that. You might be cut off. Beach, let's talk about the playoff, John, for a minute. I mean, we should have got into this a lot earlier. I think we know you're doing crappy. We
Before
already saw.
the massive audience, we don't want to just keep them in the blue. I run a playoff pool every year called the Playoff John, where you have to fill a roster of all the playoff teams, and I keep a spreadsheet, like
Essentially
like
one
a
player.
1994 office
Right.
worker.
You get one player from every team, and which makes it very difficult because you don't know which teams are going to keep going, which teams aren't. It's actually
But even if you
quite
do,
intricate.
it's hard to.
I got 3 friends in the top 10.
Yeah.
Shout out DK's mom in 8th place.
Was that her?
Robin. That's
Damn.
Rob. That's
No,
DK's
I
mom.
saw
She's in
Katie.
8th
I
place. I
figured-
was like,
we haven't seen DK's mom since the fireball
Yeah,
shots in the
she-
parking lot of the Phillies
she knows
game.
ball at a
I was
high
wondering
level.
if it was like her brother or something.
no, it's DK's mom. Dibs in
Amazing.
11th place. Our boy Jason's in 11th place. We got some heating up.
286, I think.
Eric Finks in 413th out of 433.
That's pretty good.
Woo! Bottom barrel feeding. I'm
Never
heating
know.
up.
Never know.
God,
But this year it was crazy. Like usually you're like, oh well, you gotta if you gotta get Mahomes, or you gotta like this year because of the fact that there weren't just like as many heavyweights. I found picking the roster to be a lot harder
The
than
craziest roster diversity in the history of the playoff,
Right.
John.
because there's a lot of like running back, Travion Henderson and
DK's mom had Chuba Hubbard, who lost his job mid-season to Rico
scored
down,
2
and
touchdowns
now
in
he's
it.
back. Like
yeah. So the John is off to quite a start.
playoff.
What are you gonna win for winning that $5,000? Is it?
No,
This is
I
crazy,
think it's
folks.
I think it's
4,500 for first.
It's very
place.
hard to win. But if you do,
350 for
make a lot of
top
money.
spot every week.
when do we got to get our flex picks in? You got to get this is the hard part.
Just do it.
You got to
Just get
send
'em
these flex
do it
picks in
right
every week.
now?
I forget.
If you're listening to this,
First
put your
place
flex
is
in.
4,500. Second
Boom.
place is 2,250. Third place is 1,350. Fourth place 825. Fifth place 500. And the high week each week gets 350.
Speaking
this
of
is a
fantasy
high- this
football,
is a high
before we get
money
off playoff, John,
high
did you
stakes.
guys know I won the City Pigeons podcast? Fantasy
We were
football?
aware of it.
Okay,
Have you been
I
made
wanted to bring it
made
up.
whole at this point?
Congratulations.
I have got my money.
Okay. Good.
And it went right to rent. So
Beautiful. There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
we
it's
got-
better than the money that otherwise would have went there, right?
could have put it in a fucking parlay.
Yeah. I'm just debating whether to retire completely.
You could have put it
from
in
all-
a parlay before rent and paid for rent plus.
I know.
See?
Sometimes
You're so irresponsible, dude.
No,
you
I-
pay for rent instead of gambling first.
I get so nervous, and I'm like, this is a great idea, and then I'm like, I'm not. and
Real
it's-
quick.
I had $45,000 on.
How about Philly's thoughts?
Nobody
Embiid
cares. That's what I was
versus
just going to
Jet?
say. We can't sit around and talk about how it sucks that the Eagles lost forever.
Let's
We're
turn
gonna
the
have to
page.
transition.
Let's turn the page.
So, first of all, we got to say, Ranger, thank you for your service. You knew, like everybody knew, there's no way they could spend money on a pitcher given all the pitchers that we already have and the fact that Ranger was free agent. So the good news is you're not really surprised that he went somewhere else. Red Sox, I can kind of live with that. Fink, go ahead.
Can I say something that might make everyone mad?
As long as you don't say like some adolescent.
No, I'm
Or
not.
call me a disparaging
Listen,
name.
I love Ranger. I think he was a great pitcher. I think we're going overboard.
way overboard.
I think we're
dude.
going overboard.
The,
what
the
he did for
Ranger
this
love
team.
is insane.
Dude,
He's great.
He's
I mean,
never finished like a season. Like he's like pitched like 100 innings, 150 innings.
I see
and his
people
arm
like, I'll
falls
see you
off.
on the Wall of Fame. Like, what Wall of
Like,
Fame?
what are we talking
I
about
didn't
here?
see
Like,
this coming.
no, I mean, like,
I
God
thought we were
bless
gonna
I
pay
liked
homage
him.
to him.
He's
He's
cool.
cool.
And here's the
He's
thing:
cool.
he was
Yeah.
cool in the playoffs. He goes out there. He shows up with the
Bunch
big,
of cool players playing for the Phillies.
biggest balls
Yeah.
out there. Thank you, Ranger. But like, we're going a little bit overboard. Like, people are like, my favorite Philly ever, like top 5.
Okay.
Like,
He has one of the lowest ERAs in postseason history, which is pretty
Listen,
fucking cool.
it's sexy,
say
but
but they
like,
they didn't even play him in the postseason.
he
really.
can't even pitch over 150
Listen.
innings. He shuts down for half the season.
Say what you want about his
We just
overall
did.
body of work. But I think what really captivated people was the way, to your point, he was the most calm pitcher you'd ever seen, the most even keel guy. And I'll tell you what I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss watching him pitch and just nibble at that outside corner with those breaking balls that guys think are never going to be strikes. And he just had the ability to work that outside part of the zone. He was a magician. So we'll miss him. Red Sox, like I said, much better than the Mets, right? Fink?
Oh
We're
my
happy about
God!
that.
I would have probably.
Yeah.
No offense. I probably would have went down to City Field
Actually,
and killed Ranger Suarez.
I wouldn't
myself.
have minded.
offensive.
I wouldn't have minded
He'd be
unloading
dead.
on him a few times a year, like just
Yeah.
taking our frustration.
You know,
out.
like
maybe.
when you get to around like
Yeah, 'cause we
July
hit-
and August, when he
everyone's
breaks
so-
We hit
down
that
every
kind
year.
of pitcher real well. It wouldn't have gone well at all. He probably would have freaking smoked
Yeah,
us.
he would have like.
All right. So Rangers are the biggest story of the day, but in the background is this Bo Bichette stuff. Meech, I'm going to defer to you. I feel like you're kind of the resident baseball expert. To
You
me,
don't know shit.
I'm just looking for
Where's Rocky on baseball?
where is that Rocky in baseball? To me, I'm just looking for
He thinks Ranger Suarez is a Star Wars character.
this is true. This is definitely true. No, I'm just looking for that something to hang my hat on to be like, yes, I'm excited. This changes things. I know everybody's
Bo
biggest
Bichette
fear.
would change the makeup
Right.
of this team.
And Ranger going to the Red Sox kind of seems like it makes it a little less likely that he might go there.
The Red
So,
Sox were second. Like they were like Red
Right.
Sox are putting all their like attention
So,
towards Bo.
my
now.
question to you, Meech, is do they need to sign Bo Bichette for you to say you're back in? Have they done even close to enough to
Absolutely. If they don't sign him and only sign Real Muto to end this off season, I'm going to be so pissed because they would take a huge step back.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette is a star, and he's 27. Who cares if it costs $300 million? We got a few other of those guys. I don't think. Do you remember his pop? Do you remember Bo Bichette's dad?
So I didn't.
Dante, right?
Dante.
Yeah,
but I
okay.
but
He was
someone
like an OG
someone
Colorado
mentioned
Rocky.
it and I looked it up.
Yes,
He was
that's
the
right.
man.
His career batting average is insane. I
Dude,
think like
he-
his smallest his
You know Dante?
lowest
Or
bat-
Bo.
Dante his lowest batting season was like 288 or
Yeah,
something like that.
he's-
He's like a fucking stud.
So
He's
that
the
cookie
man.
cutter park with the
He's got a good like that. That was I think the Blue Jays. Not that anyone cares, but at one point they had
Right.
Bichette's son, Guerrero's son, Biggio's
you
son,
care.
and someone else.
a nice
like
fact.
it was a pretty cool,
Very compelling.
murderer's row of sons.
Yeah.
But do we need them?
But see, here's the
And
thing.
but there's so many other suitors for him. I don't know
Right.
if we're going to get him. But the cool thing is he's in love with Don Mattingly. Those guys are
helped.
like the boyfriend and
Tom
girlfriend.
Mattingly was the man. Back
They're
in the day,
lovers.
dude.
His people were mad that he was on a Zoom call with us, but he's on his honeymoon right now. Do you know that?
Who, Mattingly?
No, Bichette. He got married this weekend. He's right now on his honeymoon.
And the other thing
Oh.
is John or one of the national guys jumping on Matt Gelb's.
Heyman.
Yeah, said
Yeah.
that this is the Phillies' second meeting with him.
Yeah.
Right.
So which is makes you think like Gelb reported that was one meeting. This was a second meeting. If you're having a second meeting, I mean, like, what's going on here? You're coming here. Like, I feel like you're coming here.
Second date, you're getting a second base,
Yeah,
right?
you're getting a kiss on the
Touching
second
some
date.
titty.
But see, here's
Might
the thing.
get some buns. You know, you don't know. You don't know.
I feel like this is the worst case scenario because it's one thing to get like to hear that it might happen and then it happens. But like we've been hearing like too much.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been too much. The first meeting, second meeting, things went really well. Blah, 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 blah. Like if we don't sign this guy,
Things are starting to get hot and heavy.
right, people are just going to be really pissed off. And then we're going to go into the
Yes.
season with this. Oh, we're running it back.
Yes, if we
mentality.
get teased with Bichette and then they yank it from us and say,
Bichette or
hey, we
bust.
re-signed Real Muto for a few years, bloop, 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 I'm going to be pissed, man. Because then our outfield's in shambles.
The outfield sucks right now.
Like right now, I mean, and people are like, yo, if we get Bichette, we got to trade Bohm. Nobody's going to take Bohm unless you give him away and eat his 10 point some $million. We've tried to trade him for 3 consecutive off seasons. Nobody
Ty
wants him.
Daubert, writer for I think one of the blogs. I'm so sorry, Ty. I follow
Jizz Nation.
but he suggested
Sorry, it's like 8 o'clock. man.
traded Stott and Sosa because they can get you back more. Bohm came around batted 287 to end the season. You put Bo at second. You get rid of Stott and Sosa. Keep Bohm. Then you use the prospects or whatever you get for them guys. Maybe you get a catcher in here. You don't have to do
Getting
JT.
anything
Move
for
some things
Sosa.
around.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Fake
But
Dombrowski. Let's go. I'm with it.
something has
Yeah.
to be done. The team as constructed is not a team that's going to beat the Dodgers.
Somebody's going to have
Also,
to
the pitching
explain to me.
staff is question.
Here's what you got to
questionable
do. You
too.
got to get your T-shirt, girl, because I want people to steal this and print it for themselves.
Why don't we print it?
Do you remember those old Kenner action figures, the Star Wars ones? You got to get not Boba Fett. You got to get Boba Shett, and you got to get him in the Mandalorian.
We are gonna
outfit
if you
with a
if you're
baseball
watching this
bat.
live,
They're already
and a
making
helmet.
it now.
I
the
am going to kidnap your family if you make those shirts. You hear me? I'm going to kidnap your entire family.
right.
This is our idea. We're doing it.
You heard it.
If you hear it after this, it's already done. Get over it.
The bots are making it as we speak, just like the Schwarby shirt.
Yeah, they're like AI. Can you make an action figure?
Yeah,
of
I mean, anyone can be
Boba
anything.
Fett
It's-
as
it's
Boba Fett.
pointless. It's pointless.
Shout out
enter?
Cub Designs. They love to steal.
Okay.
Bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum. Steal our Swarby design.
Here's what someone
Pervert.
needs to explain to me. Like, how many guys can you just be like, well, 7 to 10 years, 200 to 300? Like, at some point,
you got to cut it off,
right?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, and as much as I want this guy, and I do, I don't really understand exactly what the trade-off's going to be. Like, at some point in like 6 years, are we going to be like, we can't add any new players because we still got Bryce, Trey, this guy's money, Schwarber's money, and like
Well,
things
here's
are going to be
the here's
terrible?
the cool part.
I don't get it.
We still have John Middleton tobacco money. That's not going anywhere.
Right.
That's never going anywhere, and that's billions. So
The cool part is I'm going to pull Nathan Fielder and become an airline pilot. And
Okay.
when we get 5-6 years down the line, I'm
Mhm.
going to fly the Phillies plane and crash it into
Jesus,
the
man.
mountains.
it's like the most.
Do you want to
morbid
get out of the
ending.
contracts, Meach? Do you want to
It's
win
like
a
the most
World
morbid
Series?
ending to this
Do you want to
podcast.
win a World Series?
He's going
I'm
to
going
become
to
a
crash the
pilot.
plane with
Oh.
these guys with their overpriced
So you
contracts.
sacrifice yourself.
And I'm going to
right.
save our team from cap hell so that we can
Look,
continue to
look
win
who's on
World
the
Series.
floor covering.
Oh my gosh, you're watching Joel
He's
Embiid
picking his
on the
notes.
floor.
He's fine.
Hey, listen.
I just
He's
seen him
been
with
better.
a monster block, dude.
He's been better.
Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out. To
Yeah, I
Joel
want to hear
Embiid.
Meach give it. I want to hear Meach talk about my boy Embiid. Let's go, Meach.
Well,
Go ahead.
here's the thing. My whole gripe with him is he won't be ready for the end of the year. But right now, he's looking good. He's playing incredible. He should be an all-star. He's
No,
putting up 30 points a game, bro. Like, look at his numbers. He's
You
better
wanna-
than any
you
other
wanna bring up
center.
his numbers, Jesse? Because I got him.
His numbers are pretty crazy.
Sure.
The last
Make
month
I just
or
thought he
so.
got going too late and he warmed up too slowly. He
No,
wouldn't
he's playing a lot of games. He's not missing as many as
You
I
think he has a
thought.
chance to make the All-Star game?
Oh, absolutely.
Embiid is averaged 23.7 with 7 rebounds,
Especially as
3
like a
assists,
coach's pick.
0.7 steals. We're gonna round up, so that's 1 steal and 1 block.
In how many minutes?
29 and a half.
As long as
Ooh,
as long as he
feeling the
doesn't
Sixers
invite
run.
Ben Simmons barber to the All-Star game, he won't have to miss it because
What do
of
you guys
COVID.
feel about bringing Ben Simmons back as the 4?
As a fourth fisherman?
No, the 4 in the 4.
We do need a fisherman.
Yeah, we need an official team fisherman.
Oh,
I
my
think the
gosh.
Sixers are going to get out of the second round this year.
It'd be ironic.
I'm back
I mean, if
in.
it's any
I'm back
year, it's
in.
going to be this year. I mean, you
I thought
should
they
be
were going
able
to win the NBA Cup.
Wait,
They did.
Maxey
Disappointed.
drops 30 a game and B 25. Paul George 20. VJ 20 to 15. Championship caliber team.
So I actually think, I mean, if you look at the teams in the East, getting out of the second round might be as feasible this year as it's been in years. Not saying anything really about the quality of the Sixers as much.
Are you buying Sixers stuff?
Yeah, I would right now. Yeah, I would. I
We're
would think.
buying Sixers
All right, so
stuff.
as we start to wrap it up, just a couple closing thoughts.
Never wrap it up.
I really hope. I do really hope. That's unbelievable. That's so out of pocket.
I mean, I got 5 kids. I never wrapped it up.
All right, guys.
Wrap it up, B.
Listen. I just hope that the Eagles. I can't take like 2 months of coordinator talk. And by the way, there's two.
Here, I don't mean to cut you off, but you're looking at it wrong. You want the guys who have head coach possibilities
Who don't
to
get a
not
job.
get the head coach and be
Right.
like, shit, I got to do something this year, and be
I
like,
know,
come
it's
over
just-
to the Eagles, baby. Come over here.
I just can't stand
We
listening
got
to people
something
talk
good.
about it day after day.
No,
So
no,
that's
let
gonna
it
be
linger.
Come to
Like the
my
Cranberries.
window.
Let me just
I'll
say,
be there.
the whole like online content thing is so out of control. If I have to watch one more person break down how bad the Eagles offense and the plays were, everybody from a guy who's got like a ex-college football player, he's got like an analytics thing, and I'm seeing this Nick Foles, Acho, Shady. I mean, it's just out of control, man.
I like Dave
can't.
Murphy from the Daily News, but I got into it with him today. He posted some pass to AJ, and he was complaining about it. I was like, dude, you get AJ one-on-one on the outside
Right.
with no one else.
I
You
can
got to
see that.
You just chuck it up in the air to him,
Yeah.
and he bullies the defensive back. That's what he's done his whole career.
That's what we want, though, Meech. We want classic Meech out there taking
Yeah.
people on in the internet.
Classic
theater.
Meech.
You hear us,
we
Dave
want classic
Murphy?
theater.
Meech is coming for you.
No, I like
brother.
Dave Murphy. He's a good dude.
He
Here's the
used
good
to
news,
like
though.
you.
Let me say,
I wasn't being a dick. I was just having a conversation with him. Can't have a conversation with anyone.
No, it's a
nowadays
fight.
everyone's
without just being a
defensive.
dickhead.
This is my take.
Yeah.
Everything's a take.
I will say, in years past, when the Eagles would lose like they did this past weekend, I would not be able to watch anything else. But because of the fact that we won the Super Bowl last year, and I feel like this team battled
made you soft.
made me a little
Made
bit
you a little
softer,
soft?
no doubt. What I know is this: I'm not as pissed off somehow about this, and I actually am going to watch other football games.
I
So,
agree with that because,
yeah.
like I said, I replied to the tweet earlier today that I'm not that mad. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
and I should be more like pissed off because I feel like we are blowing a good chance to win it all, especially in a wide open entire NFL.
that
but
voice inside my head that said you didn't think a Philly team was going to go back to back. Did ya? Turns out that voice was right. But you know what? To your point earlier, Fink, we'll go Super Bowl, bad year, Super Bowl, not terrible, but not great year. Super Bowl.
Listen, if you give us a Super Bowl appearance and then a win every,
Down with that.
I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a good 20 plus years of being relevant and a lot more to say than the rest of the teams in the NFC. So
I would
Yeah.
still rather be an Eagles fan than a fan of any other team in the NFL at this point.
Amen.
They're so stacked. They got a good organization, and they're successful every year.
you
And
know
they
what?
won a fucking Super Bowl last year. It's cool.
And
Everything's
it's-
cool, man.
And it's fun. Like everyone always hates on Eagles fans. If you look like what the Chiefs fans and
It's
stuff
fun.
are celebrating their like Super Bowl,
It's not fun.
it doesn't look fun. Does it
That's
look
right.
fun? Like, does it look fun to be a KC fan when they're winning? No. But you look at the
Grease the
freaking
polls.
Eagles fans; they're riding up the Art Museum steps.
They're
and they're
eating
fucking
horse
really-
shit.
We're eating horse shit. We're
Yeah.
punching horses.
Right.
Like we're doing whatever
Whatever.
it takes to win the Super Bowl. And KC's just sitting out there with their fingers in their
We'll
butts.
fall
Like,
off a light pole and die. Like, that's how far.
whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, I'll do it.
R.I.P. to that guy who fell off the
You
light
know-
pole
Did he
and
die?
died. Yeah, remember? a couple
Oh
years ago?
shit!
Yeah, man.
Forgot
Sorry
about
for bringing
that.
it up.
Yeah,
man,
but there's no need to.
I thought there was no one else watching.
Well, no. Over time, the audience tends to grow, Meech.
Time after
Well,
people
actually,
time.
this is
watching
when we
now-
usually come on. So our
Right.
normal audience is
Yes,
just tuning
there's
in.
tons of people that are tuning in right now. It's just ending. I thought it's 8 o'clock. It's always
just hit
8
rewind
o'clock.
on YouTube TV, guys. We had some insightful shit today.
Yeah, really.
We're brilliant.
Yeah. No. Well, look, I don't know where we go from here. That wasn't as painful as I thought. Talking about all that, so I appreciate you guys.
It was cathartic.
Showing up. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
We had fun.
You just have to get things off your chest once in a
Right.
while,
You have to. You absolutely do. So I don't know where we're going to head moving forward, right? We're going to continue to monitor the offensive coordinator situation.
I do want to shout out
See what happens.
Holy Ghost Prep basketball team, who is
Shout 'em
now
out.
top 20 in the Philly area.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they've never been even close to this
Yeah.
good.
Behind who?
Yeah.
Behind who?
Is there somebody on that team that we
Is
need to watch out for?
Judge has gotten
No.
beat.
I'm
No.
talking about players on Holy Ghost team.
Yeah,
I
he's
heard
trying to throw
someone
you a
had
shout
a
out.
great game the other day. They highlighted
Max
and made a
Meach.
fucking my boy, young Meach. Ooh.
Max
My
Meach out there balling.
second born
So
is,
can I
is
ask-
out there killing it.
Can I ask how
Junior
you feel?
for
Like,
Holy Ghost basketball.
I seen the clip on Instagram and everyone in the comments are calling him Meach. How do you feel about the nickname getting passed
I
down?
love it. Like
Yeah.
every one of my kids are called Meach.
All
Like,
right, okay.
Really?
My oldest, they're all,
It's
and
amazing.
it's like Meach 2, Meach 3.
I
like,
didn't know if
yeah.
it just got passed down like that, but I seen,
No, I didn't.
I see everyone in the
enforce it on them,
comments.
but
There's
they
like
all just adopted it.
there's
and all
7
Their friends.
there's like 7 comments of just young Meach and like Meach comments, and I'm like, how does Meach feel like his nickname's getting passed down to his son?
Does-
who's fucking
does feel good.
hooping? Holy
Beautiful.
Ghost, what are they called? The
the Firebirds.
Firebirds.
Nice. Are they playing Judge anytime soon? Is it gonna be
PCL's next year, right?
Yeah, they get into the PCL next year, but this year
exciting?
that
We're not talking about Judges basketball this year.
No.
They're not
Fall
doing-
from
Dude,
grace.
they're not
they
doing so
looked
great.
awesome, and then
Mm.
they just I
Penn
don't know.
Charter's playing well.
They got
Just took
time to
down
get it back.
SCH
It's the
last
beginning.
night.
Yeah, the 2 games they lost were about like 5 points total.
And they played a lot of teams out of conference, out of state,
Yeah.
trying to see where I think
We're
trying to see
into
where
the
they're
high
stacked
school
up.
basketball
they were in
portion
Baltimore
of the
for like a
program.
month.
They might still win the
Stick with
PCL.
us.
Who won the PCL last year? Don't fucking forget it. Excuse my language. Who won states last year? Don't freaking forget it.
All right, Fink.
Father Judge Crusaders. Yeah, baby.
All right.
Ooh.
You know what? I think we've passed our useful life on this particular
I
program.
bid you adieu.
Drewster says, "Why is Fink going on 2 hours of sleep?" It's a really good question, Drewster.
You don't even want to know,
He didn't
brother.
need anything today, so here we are.
You don't even want to know. We'll talk about it later.
All right,
Maybe.
onward, upward. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about next week. Thank you guys for checking out the show. Tell a friend, and get in touch. Come
I
hang
love
out with
everybody
us.
that
Let's
tuned
go.
in tonight.
All right, peace and love, as Mark Goodhart